You are listening to the Manumit Podcast. My name is Casey, and I'm here with my buddy Glenn Johnson, investment advisor and founder of Jabez Financial right here in the Uncasville area. When somebody comes to you, let's say they come into your office, they sit down with you, they say, Glenn, I'm okay with a little risk. I'm okay with it. In your opinion, what does that usually mean to them versus what does that actually look like in real dollars on paper in their portfolio?
You know, when somebody says that they're okay with some risk, really what they're saying is they want to have some growth. Because it's not that they're okay with losing. Nobody's okay with losing money, right? But because their desire for gain is so significant, and the greater their desire for gain, the more they intellectually understand that, well, they have to be willing to assume more risk because they want those gains. So I recognized, okay, they want their accounts to grow. That's what I'm hearing. When somebody says, I want to take risk, really what they're saying is, I want my account to grow and whatever it takes, let's make this happen. And so we want to take that perspective and then we have to assess it and realize, well, what is the best way to actually go about accomplishing the kind of gains they want to see? And that's why when we have a conversation about where the market is, what the fundamentals of the economy are, now we can take a more strategic approach so they can actually get the results that they're looking for. And part of that comes with not foolishly losing money in a declining market. So I invite you to give us a call at 860-288-9977, and let's have a conversation about how much growth do you want your account to see and how much risk is actually appropriate for you to be taking and in what economic season. So again, give us a call at 860-288-9977, and we can put together a plan that we can have realistic expectations that it's going to accomplish exactly what you're looking for.
We have opened up a few select spots on Glenn's calendar just for our radio listeners. So give us a call right now. Let's set a time for you to begin that conversation with Glenn. It's 860-288-9977. And your journey begins with this no fee, no obligation retirement projection. This is a conversation that you can have directly with Glenn. 860-288-9977. Go ahead, reserve your spot on the calendar right now, 860-288-9977 or online at jabezfinancial.com. Okay, so when you hear those numbers, Glenn, 30% versus 15%, what that really tells me is that people are not necessarily chasing returns, but they're chasing that peace of mind. And that kind of ties into something else I read that I think a lot of our listeners will relate to, and I wanted to get your thoughts on. It was an article I saw on gobankingrates.com. It said that there is a difference between retirement and financial freedom. So I'm wondering if you could talk to us about your thoughts on that and how you would maybe define these two terms.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you think of retirement, retirement is the end of something. You're retiring something. It's come to its end. Whereas freedom is the beginning. So the beginning of something new. So when you're doing retirement planning, you want to go about it with the right mindset. It's not you that's retiring. You're retiring your job. It's your job that's coming to an end, not you. So the goal is to reach a point where your job is no longer necessary. And at that point, you can choose to retire it. See, when a new technology comes out, sometimes a new technology can wipe out an entire industry. And as a result, your job is no longer useful. Your job is retired. But that doesn't mean that you are. So just like technology can replace your job, there is no technology that can replace you. It's a good thing to go about living your lives now, retiring the things that you don't need or want anymore. Like old machinery is, you retire old machinery. Or retired outdated clothing or any useless items around the house.
Yeah, I like thinking of it in that way. Maybe more, you're retiring the job. You're not retiring yourself as a person. I think that's very important to keep in mind. And I'm thinking of trying to make this practical for people listening. When we talk about financial freedom, I think people think you're on a yacht, you're driving the Ferrari, you've won the lottery, you just have freedom to buy anything and everything that you want. But that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. We're talking about something more step by step than that. So could you walk us through what financial freedom really looks like in real life for everyday retirees that we're doing this show for, like the different levels? How does somebody know which even level of financial freedom they're actually on. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. Yeah. See, the pursuit of freedom is exciting. It's adventurous. And there's different levels of financial freedom. So let's start with, in America, from the time you become an adult, you've got a certain degree of freedom. You're now free to work and you're free to spend your money as you wish. Well, of course, the government gets their cut, but you're free to work. If you don't like your job, you're free to quit and you're free to go get another one, or you're free to start a business of your own. You have the freedom to work and you have freedom to earn and you have the freedom to spend your dollars as you see fit. So there's level number one. Then number two, once you've accumulated enough assets that spill off enough income, that's enough income to pay all of your fixed expenses, you no longer need to work for money. And you can retire your job. That's a level of financial freedom where you don't have to wake up and go do anything because your bills are already paid. You've accumulated enough assets. You're now financially free. In fact, like I've got one client, he's completely financially free and he lives on $1,800 a month.
Oh, wow. I think we maybe have talked about him before.
Yeah.
Is he the one that just has the radio and that's his entertainment?
That's right. That's
no
right.
No TV, just the radio. He is old school.
Right. And he's, like I said, completely financially free. But obviously, depending upon the lifestyle that you want to live, you may need to have more assets that spill off more income. But that second degree of financial freedom is having the assets that pay all of your bills. And that's really where most people want to be. But then the next level is if you've accumulated enough assets that enable you to live your life and experience your wildest dreams. You're traveling around the world. We're chartering private planes. You're able to live your dreams and still leave a massive estate. So sometimes people are somewhere in between these steps.
Yeah.
So let's look at it this way. The people that want to get from step one, where they're working and earning, into the next stage where they're at least financially independent and they can retire if they want to. That's where most Americans end up, where they'll be fine. But with the right proper planning, we can help you achieve more of that stage three, where you're able to do more of those travelings, more of those fun extras, and be able to leave that much more of an estate. With proper financial planning, you'll be able to just live that much better in retirement. Because what most people want to know, that when they retire, or can they retire, are they still going to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle without ever having the concerns of running out of money? They want to enjoy life. They want to do things that they want to do each day, whether it's traveling south for the winter or restoring an old classic car. They want to live life on their own terms. And this is where I can help. See, there's a lot of moving parts when putting together a solid financial plan. We've got to look at first. We want to ensure that you've got the assets that are going to give you the cash flow to pay all of your bills for the rest of your life while maintaining an adequate emergency reserves. It's cash flow and emergency reserves. Let's knock those two out first. And next, then we'll look for, do you have the resources that you need for the extras? Maybe the vacation here or there. And finally, we want to position your estate where it goes where you want it to go, and it will benefit the people that you want to bless. So you want to live your life as comfortably and as well as you can, and then leave what's left.
So this idea that we're talking about of financial freedom, it sounds amazing. I think that's what a lot of people are chasing, but I think there are a lot of misconceptions around it too, like we were just talking about. So I'm curious, when people come in to see you for the first time, what's the biggest misconception that they have about financial freedom when they sit down with you for the first time?
Well, it's really hard for them to picture. That's the thing. So people have all kinds of ideas of what financial freedom looks like. Sometimes financial freedom to them looks like living like a celebrity. Right? Well, that's financially free. If they're a billionaire, then fine, they're financially free. But then when we get into it, we add it up and we look at their assets and say, well, you know what? If you do this here and you move that there and you collect this income stream from this over here and have this account for your emergency reserves, we start putting all these pieces of the puzzle together. And then we reach a conclusion where, you know what? Done right, you could be financially free now. And when they see it on paper, And they can see how things can work out where not only do they have the assets in place to be financially free, but they also can have a system in place that will ensure that they will remain financially free the rest of their life. That's when the skies open up and it's like, wow, not only am I financially free now, I know I'm going to stay that way, which means they can enjoy spending their money month after month because they know they're never going to run out.
Let me ask you about the inverse of that, though, Glenn. Is it possible that you could be retired on paper, but you're not actually financially free in your real life? What does that situation look like?
Yeah, well, a lot of times people have spent a lifetime building their net worth, and they can have a high net worth, but they're still not financially free because they own things that look great on a net worth statement, but they're not really assets. Like I've met with some people, for example, maybe they've got a few $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 in their retirement account. And in some cases, that's enough, just to be fair. But they're living in a house worth $2 million. So they can have a multi-million-dollar estate, but it's all tied up in real estate that is not an income-generating asset. Now, if they had that same $2 million invested in income properties, well, now it could spill off enough income to live comfortably. But it's a matter of looking at someone's net worth and seeing how is this positioned. You know, maybe they've got a few $1,000,000 of net worth, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the cash flow to be financially free. So when people come into the office, we get a chance to go through what it is that they have and what they're looking to accomplish. And in the process, what we'll find is that we just have to reposition a couple of assets to maximize their benefit. Are they looking to grow their net worth and increase the size of their estate? Or are they looking to increase their cash flow so they can have an income stream that's not going to run out? So financial planning doesn't always just create more assets, but it can reposition them for a better quality of life. And that's why I'd invite you to give us a call and we'll have a conversation about what can you do that can significantly improve your quality of life today and throughout retirement.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Manumit Podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts so that you never miss an episode, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Investment advisory services offered through Jabez Financial, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities, offered through Glenn Johnson, Connecticut Insurance, license number 4628409. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Jabez Financial, LLC. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Jabez Financial, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Jabez Financial, LLC is licensed in your state, please call 860-390-0093.